Hey, this is Scott.
And I'm Sam.
And this is RPGamer. We're doing a quick video impression of The Darkest Dungeon, available on Steam Early Access.
It's developed by Red Hook Games.
Yes, with publishing partnership from Clay, Fathom Interactive, and Kickstarter backers. Go those guys. They were more on the ball than me. I would have backed the heck out of this. But I've been messing around with the game for a bit now. I'm 20 weeks in, which is, I guess, 20 really quick play sessions. But so far, the story...
I can still see their angry faces as they stormed the manor.
The player, having inherited
but I was dead before they found me.
Atop vast riches,
and the letter was on its way.
And also a shoggoth. So, you know, you recruit people to help you reclaim the grounds of this castle and the riches within, and, you know, slay a shoggoth. So,
sounds pretty fabulous.
Yeah, gameplay starts just outside the castle there. You can see that drifting over the cliff in the background, and there's a small town.
So tell me a bit about the town features here.
Well, I was going to. Yes, but you stepped on my transition, Samantha, is what this comes down to. Stepping on my transition. So in town, most of what you can do, or what I can do right now, is one of two things. I can relieve stress, because that is the name of the game, is stress relief. So this guy, he's stressed to the nines, as you can see, 100. So bad he's got an affliction. So we're going to let him drink that away, because, you know, therapy. I mean, and these are your therapy options. There you have, you know, booze, the ladies.
So I'm assuming that by drinking or going to the brothel, it takes away the afflictions? Or...
Yes, but they're going to be out of play for the next one.
So for the next round, you can't take them anywhere?
I can't take them anywhere. You can do something similar over here in the Abbey, which is, I guess, a more wholesome type of stress relief. So we'll put her in the cloister. Yeah, so right now I've got a roster of 13 guys, a bunch of different classes. We'll show off a few when we get to combat. And
so putting her in the cloister, what exactly does that do?
It's just you are again taking them out of play and getting stress relief. Yeah.
Okay. It's kind of a unique option. Have you seen this maybe in other games? Like, I've never seen this before, truthfully.
Not really. The other thing we've got is you can also do upgrades. So we have weapon upgrades from the blacksmith. So say, who are we actually going to run this with? Let's bring in Mr. Romanel. So we'll throw a little money at actually giving him a real sword.
You're only giving him a real sword now?
I couldn't afford even the basic weaponsmithing until now.
So, out of curiosity, how difficult then is it to get monies in this game? Because it seems like it's pretty difficult from what I've watched you play before.
That's the thing, is this game will kind of kick your butt. But, yeah, part of it is you end up spending most of your money on stress recovery right now, or at least I have been. I think I've been playing badly, is also part of the problem.
Do you find there's a steep learning curve to Darkest Dungeon
compared
to other games?
It's not a steep learning curve. It's just the game is going to kick your butt, and make no bones about it. In fact, it's actually really generous in explaining how exactly
it's going
to do it. The other thing you can do is you can go to either the guild or the survivalist, and they can help you upgrade your dudes, which you do by spending money. So let's say I want to improve, Greslet's abilities. I can spend money on that. So I'm going to throw a little, just to boost that healing ability, because I get the feeling I'm going to need it.
Also, hot stuff, she's a warrior nun.
Yeah, she's a battle nun. There's a pretty good range of not too lame ladies. Unfortunately, I lost my favorite girl earlier, which brings us to the graveyard, which, you know, kindly, in true roguelike fashion, logs everyone who dies and how. And you can still see this is an early access game, because I guess this is supposed to have a real name here instead of the Stir Death Trap Obstacle file name it is hit with. Poor Vipont, you have been killed by coding. So, that was my favorite character right there.
Was she one of the last people to die?
She was the last one to die.
Aw, I'm sorry. Your heart seems very broken by this.
It was. She was very good at her job. You can also recruit people, because I did lose one person, so let's recruit another Vestal into the fold, just because
A sister of battle,
healers.
pious and unrelenting.
So...
And that narrator guy just chimes in all the time.
So, your other option was a Highwayman. Why would you choose the Vessel, let's say, over the Highwayman?
Well, the Vestal has healing powers, and I have, like, 6 Highwaymen right now. Not 6, like 3. 3.
And what do the Highwaymen do, actually, out of curiosity?
Well,
Are they, like, gushers? Are they...
Well, we're gonna go out and do some fighting.
And show me.
And we can show you what a Highwayman does. Because Roussel's pretty hardcore, he can kick some butt. Let's bring Romnel along, he's a Crusader. We'll bring in Greslet again, and you know what? Peveril, he's a leper. Because these are the kind of peoples who would, invade a Shoggoth-infested wilderness. You have, Holy Roller types, the greedy, and lepers who just want to die, apparently.
He might have his reasons. You never know.
The narrator probably explained them to me, but at that point it was probably a stock phrase and I wasn't paying too much attention. So we're going to provision up. So I'm going to grab a shovel because digging things is just a pain in the butt by hand. And this is going to be a longer mission, so let's stock up on food and torches. So many torches, and bandages are always helpful.
So I'd like to point out you went from having 1,000 monies to 90 monies.
Yeah, you will spend a lot just provisioning, and I think the key is knowing when to just bail on a mission with what you have. You'll end up repeating things a lot, and just having to hope luck favors you next time. And luck
Mastery over life and death was chief among my early pursuits. I began in humility, but my ambition was limitless. Who could have divined the prophetic import of something as unremarkable as a twitch in the leg of a dead rat?
And that's how we get our story, is loading screen quotes. Because this one is leading into a boss fight, we get a little more context than normal. Sometimes it's just like, hey, go scout the creepy woods, because it's creepy.
So... you mentioned flavors of luck. What did you mean by that?
Well, here we have the dungeons randomize every time. There's a lot of procedural generation going on here. So we're gonna chance the books, and nope, nothing bad happened to me this time.
You mean the bookshelf tried to kill you? What
No.
did it shelved you?
No, well, because this is vaguely Lovecraftian horror, you open the book, and the book, of course, drives you insane. Which we're already slowly doing. You'll see little pop-ups indicating that people are gaining stress. So, for example, he's already picked up a few just by walking in here, because it's a creepy castle. Oh, ooh, dice are on my side right now. We haven't even run into combat yet. Speaking of combat, here we go. So, standard turn-based JRPG with a few wrinkles in that positioning does matter a great deal. So we're actually going to shoot. We're going to use this ability here. Again, everything's tooltips in this game are just great because we've got a lot of information at any given moment. So we're going to hit him because he's in the back with an arquebus, and oh, we missed. That's less than ideal. This guy's gonna shoot my leper, which is a shame. Why would you shoot a leper? That's just mean. So.
Well, he's a leper. It
Yeah.
can go either way.
Yeah. He lost synchronization for that.
So it's not the Simpsons quote, "You have leprosy"?
No, not quite that.
Okay, so out of curiosity, these blue bars have popped up. What do those mean?
So I've just, because positioning matters, and at the beginning you saw me get surprised and shuffled around, I have to now shuffle my party back into the best position for them to be. So this guy's a Crusader, he likes to be out front, so we're going to spend our turn shuffling him ahead of our Battle Nun.
Your leper's taking a beating.
Ah, he didn't even get touched. We're fine.
Like, he looks sad.
Well, he's wearing a mask, how do you know he looks sad? His teeth are gritted in determination. Oh, man.
Okay, now he's sad. He missed.
Okay, so while we're shuffling people around, sometimes you get moves. This time our Highlandman had a move that it will let him move forward and stab a guy.
But they dodged.
But he dodged. This guy is shockingly nimble. So, and this guy's just a meat shield, so we kind of have to beat our way through him before anything interesting can happen. Huh. We've got some healings going on.
So green in this case was the Heelys?
Yeah, green is any sort of ally-directed ability, so any sort of buff. So he also has a healing power we can bring up here.
Okay.
We've got an inspiration thing, which does do a little healing as well, but more importantly, it recovers stress. So we'll probably start hammering on that pretty soon. But first, we're gonna stab this guy good. Or not. Jeez. And that's why I was focusing on him earlier, because he's got a blanket attack that annoys me.
Alright, so in the case of the enemy, I noticed, like, he had a pop-up over his health bar. I'm assuming that relates to his position?
Yes.
Okay.
So, again, I have a new ability. Now that I've moved him up, I can use a more full range of his abilities. So we're going to use Open Vein, which should hit and cause some bleeding. Or he'll dodge. This guy is the most nimble hunk of man meat ever.
So unfortunately for this playtest, we seem to be having the luck of all the dodging.
Well, at least I am also dodging. Like,
Alright.
It's going my way as well.
So your battle nun just mentioned everything runs red.
Yeah,
So she's stressed?
No, but you'll see stress usually forms in a little black halo around people's heads.
Okay.
There's just random combat banter that goes on throughout the game, so they'll say stuff, those guys might yell things. See? Like, he's upset that he's bleeding, so we're gonna see if he can make that guy bleed. And
Your leper's doing very poorly.
well, he has leprosy. He's handicapped. Literally. He has a handicap.
As the fiend falls,
And see, we have
faint
white halo
hope
indicating
blossoms.
stress relief, which comes in
The form
when
of
it-
murder.
Well, usually murder, or sometimes just a nice time at camp with snacks and stories. There we go, that's a real hit.
One thing I noticed just watching you play Darkest Dungeon for the last couple days, the music is incredibly stressful.
Oh yeah, no, this...
Like, it's fantastic, but I feel really, really freaked out right now. Obviously that must be deliberate, I take it.
Yeah, it's all about the freaking you out.
And have you fought any bosses yet?
No, well, I've made an attempt at the Necromancer a couple of times, but now, I have not actually seen him. I've usually bailed on the run pretty early, because it just doesn't seem to go my way. So, more healing.
How important is it to have a balanced party when venturing out?
Oh god, even just missing... Because of the positioning rules, it means that you theoretically, loading up on 4 warriors means you've got 2 guys sitting at the back doing nothing.
Okay.
So you do have to keep a good mix going on. Always have a healer, unless you're just really
such a terrible assault
really
cannot be left unanswered.
trying to do a quick run. Stop whipping me.
Now, in terms of positioning, which classes can actually sit in the back and...
Well, everyone has a best position, so right now I'm keeping my Battle Nun at the back, and we'll see that she can only really do one thing from there, which is
The
both
bigger the
healing
beast.
moves.
Okay.
The greater
But,
the glory.
rogues tend to be a little more mobile in 2nd and 3rd rank, so our Highwayman is a rogue type, and he'll do interesting things from there.
Now, depending on the number of rounds, because I just noticed that you're up to
Confidence
round
surges
7,
as the
does
enemy
that also
crumbles.
increase stress?
No, but it will burn torchlight, which is displayed up here.
Okay.
And your torchlight has a number of effects. It increases low light, increases your stress, reduces your chance of surprising monsters or being surprised yourself. Oh, empty sarcophagus. How helpful. Hey. We also got some cool loot, so we're going to give that to our rogue guy, because it's an interesting balance of where the light is at and what he can do. But that looks like an interesting couple of mechanics.
And scouting, what does that do?
So scouting occurs randomly. When you have enough light, it'll just say, hey, we're going to actually show you what's coming up, and you can make an informed decision. And that is how it goes. Obviously, we've got a locked display cabinet. Let's see if this guy can open it without getting poisoned. Not even loot. Lovely. And here we see the lighting of the game coming into play, because as torchlight diminishes, you'll see that we shift from a nice, friendly blue overtone to red, just to add to that gloom and assorted doominess. And more chatter. And more stress, because monsters. We're gonna fight some bugs. Healings, go!
How quickly the tide turns.
I may have to bail on this just for healing. So we're gonna do a buff move. We're gonna do a combat heal with that. Then we're going to shoos them. Shoos them in the face. So you are always the one to come in on the art style in this, Sam. Tell me what you think.
It's gorgeous, and I constantly keep admiring just the level of detail in just about everything, actually. I mean, if you look at, like, the characters in the game, just the level of detail to their outfits, how they look, even the positioning. The animations were really fantastic in this game. I'm kind of entertained by the close-ups. So when you attack something or if you do something, you get this massive close-up.
You can turn that off if it gets a little tiresome. It's sort of like
Press
animations in
disadvantage.
Pokemon.
Give them no
But
quarter.
I kind of love it at the same time. It gives this sort of epic feel to it, like I am epically stabbing the dudes, watch me stab them. What do you think of the graphics? You're the one playing it.
Well, I am... It reminds me a great deal of Mike Mignola.
These nightmarish creatures can
which
be felled.
does
They
add
can be
to that
beaten.
inky black gloominess that the game is shooting for.
You know what? It makes
and
me think
that's
of
a trap.
that's a trap.
And he sprung the trap.
Mechanical
Oh,
hazards.
dang it,
Possessed
this
by
guy's
evil
dead.
intent.
This guy's dead. Can we camp from here?
This the graphical style definitely makes you think of something out of a comic book.
Injury and despondence set the stage for
You know, I think
heroism.
of like the scratchiness of something
or
like 100
cowardice.
bullets. And that's what it makes me think of.
So we're in a room and we're gonna camp because that guy's going to die.
Please save the highwaymen.
Okay,
Gathered
so
close
we're going to
in tenuous firelight and uneasy
We're
companionship.
gonna eat up.
Feast.
We're gonna feast, and now we've got the camp actions, where we can go around and each person has 2 to 3, which,
Can you be attacked in camps?
yes, but that comes in later. First we do a bit of, let's see, we're going to pray to reduce some stress, and then we are going to Do some wound care.
Your nun's hot. How are you finding the writing? As much as there doesn't seem to be a lot of it other than outside the narration.
Well, it's just a mood piece, and I think it's pretty good at sticking to mood. So right now we still have 1 hour. You get, at the start of rest, you get 12 points that I've spent using all of this. So I now have to just go for 1 hour and hope I don't get ambushed by horrible slug monsters. And how are we doing?
You seem okay.
You know, we get some
The
banter,
match
and
is
we have
struck.
not been attacked by
A
spiders.
blazing star is born.
And everyone seems to be much happier, so we're going to pick a new room to travel to. Everything happens on the mouse, so you just move around. So
I guess I'm just easily impressed. Just even like the sound effects are really, it really enhances the atmosphere.
I mean, this game manages to have a lot of atmosphere with little animated dudes on the screen. Now, of course, if I don't check that room, that's going to be the one where the Necromancer's in. And I'll have to backtrack all the way. And, man, you are bad at traps, dude. Oh, God. You're gonna get gibbering insanity and die on me, aren't you, bud? And heirlooms are a type of treasure that you use to upgrade things. Oh, hey, you actually managed that. Good going. Let's see if you don't get eaten in this next room. And, hey, skeletons. Let's beat them up and take their stuff. So, opening
Kind of like how the skeletons look on the end.
Oh, the bone courtiers?
Yes, I love their little outfits. Which I know is bizarre, because I am incredibly stressed for you. Go battle, men!
Let's see that.
Now, I wanted to ask one other thing, which is under the health bars there are these white squares.
That's your stress.
Your stress?
So we can see that our highwayman is pretty high. He's probably going to develop some manner of paranoia or gibbering insanity by the end of this fight. But we'll see how that goes. First, let's smite this guy. Smoten. Nice. Awesome. Smoten, right? In the comments, let me know. Ooh,
As
hey.
victories mount, so too will resistance.
So you have a nice pile of loot here.
Got a big pile of gold, extra torch, that's always handy. And now we can pick a room to travel to, yet again.
So, the Necromancer, I take it he just appears at random?
Well, it's randomized dungeon, so he'll be in one of the rooms. I don't know which.
Okay, I thought this was a case of randomized in that he's just gonna pop up and you're gonna freak.
No.
Because, oh my god, Necromancer, I'm not ready for you.
So, we're going to keep inspirational for him, because, and see if we can keep the stress manageable. Oh, no. That's why I hate Bone Courtiers, because it's a little hit and a lot of stress.
So I wanted to ask you about the Leper and the Crusader. So the Crusader is obviously a kind of paladin, correct?
Yeah.
And he just dared to gush. What does the Leper kind of translate to? Is he also just a kind of paladin or a mercenary?
The Leper is a fighter class. It is a different... It's slightly different in that his abilities seem to be martyrdom-focused, shall we say.
Okay.
So when his turn comes back, we'll show you what he's working with.
And you said there were other classes,
A
obviously.
singular strike.
Yeah, we've got guys like the Hellion, the Jester, the Grave Robber. So right now he's got 2 melee attacks, one standard, one that'll hit the front 2 guys for slightly less damage. Withstand, which is a stress healing protection move I tend to open combat with. And then Intimidate is, hey, I'm a leper, you don't want to touch me even though you're a zombi. I think zombies might be immune to that.
I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure they're immune to leprosy.
Yeah, but he's still not immune to debuff moves, so we could try it.
I'm pretty sure WebMD would tell you this.
WebMD says a lot of things.
You've got leprosy.
Yes.
If you haven't noticed, Scott and I like The Simpsons.
More healing. Because that's what you're there for, Battleman. You heal the wounds.
Can she actually bash things good?
Yes, she can bash things good. If I were to move her into the 3rd rank, she could start throwing holy magics.
But we don't want that because
that would mean putting someone else out of an ideal position. And those guys are dead.
So I'm sure there's
Remind yourself that
people asking
overconfidence
before.
is a
This
slow
probably
and
is just your
insidious killer.
Is this a case of style over substance, or do you think the substance complements what you're actually playing?
I think as much as this game does ooze style, I think they've actually done a really good job of enforcing that style through gameplay. Like this is Lovecraftian horror, and madness and despair just lurk everywhere. There's really nothing in the game that isn't, you know, bleak in some manner. Even, say, doing your stress relief back at the Abbey comes with this weird masochistic tone. It's not quiet contemplation, it's you know, flagellation. And that's another thing is, while you're down here, you have to eat. That's a random encounter in and of itself. And if you don't have food, well, hey, more debuffs. Oh, hey, the books didn't drive us mad. Good luck. And more bone guys. It's a necromancer there, guys. I'm sorry. You fight bone guys. But this... I'm actually feeling pretty good about this run so far. No one's horribly insane or badly wounded at this point, so...
Well, you had to fix the highwaymen.
Well, but I had the option to, so... Oh, here we go. This is where stress max out, and he broke. Sometimes when stress gets high, you'll see them go the other way, where they'll actually be full of zeal, but more often than not, it's gonna end in... It ends in tears, so not only is he going to be sitting there being hopeless at everyone, it's going to hurt the morale of both my Crusader and my Vestal who are next to him. So I may have to just shuffle him around just to...
Shuffle him to the back?
Not necessarily in combat efficiency, but just for the sake of everyone else in the room.
So because he's a Debbie Downer, he can make everybody else a Debbie Downer.
Yeah, you know.
No, but that's actually a really cool element when you think about it.
I mean, it's a well thought out idea, and I'm glad it's there. And I was just about to make a snark on about YouTube commenters.
But I mean, it seems like the game does this really good job of taking the atmosphere and making the player uncomfortable. Because it seems like anything and everything you do, there is a consequence, big or small. I mean, in this case, you have a hopeless highwayman who is going to ruin the morale of your party.
And
not many roguelites do that, but then again, I assume most roguelites you don't really have a party to work with.
That's it. There's
Pokemon.
Yeah. And that's it, is, see, if you've been paying attention, you've already seen him skip a turn and turn down healing because he really does not believe we will make it out alive. I do, Russell. I do. I think I got a shot at stabbing the necromancer in his stupid bony face.
And I take it once they've hit with something like that, you don't have a choice but to rely on the other three?
Yeah. I mean, right now he can still maybe be helpful half the time, but at the moment, see, now our vessel's been knocked forward, so we're actually going to be able to do something. So let's just hit this guy in the face with some holy magic. So we got a debuff out of it. We're going to be inspirational. Yes, we are.
Go team, go.
Go team. Stop doing that. How do you keep that goblet full, Bone Guy?
And for those curious, is gore something you can turn off if you don't like gore?
No, we'll get into the options, I think, in a minute. But yeah, no, gore is... You're kind of stuck with those little blood splatter effects unless you turn animations off entirely. So... So that's that.
I really love their little outfits. I can't get over the little skeleton's outfits. Oh! Hopeless Man was kind of useless. Or useful. Oops. Useful. Word's hard. Also, I noticed his stress is decreasing.
Yeah, but he's still hopeless.
He's still panicky.
Like, you can't cure the afflictions down here. You're stuck working with them. So that was supposed to work. Oh well. So now he's at the back. We're gonna do some inspiring. Ooh, holy magics. That's another reason why to keep your Vestal in the back, because the magic is not all that impressive.
He's there to heal.
Yeah. Hewn they are.
A trifling victory,
Nice
but a victory
heirlooms.
nonetheless.
And check the suit of armor. What does it have? Oh, hey! That sometimes you'll pick up new perks doing this. So you'll see each character has just a mix of perks. So he hates unholy monsters and crits harder. Hits harder when he's damaged, resists diseases because he's a leper. He's got boost to speed first round, some protection, but he's also got some drawbacks, like...
He's klepto.
Yeah, I think if you saw him steal my holy water earlier. And now he's night blind.
What are some of the drawbacks that you're finding while playing Darkest Dungeon? Like,
Oh,
are there any...
this is old school rogues.
Cruel
So
machinations
there's just
spring to
piles
life.
of them.
With
It's
a
almost
singular
to the level
purpose.
of Rogue Legacy, where you have, a billion little afflictions you can try to roll with. There is an option to cure them. It's just expensive and time consuming, like everything else.
So, for newcomers of roguish games, would this be a game that you could recommend to a newcomer, or no?
I think this one is it'll test your patience. Like this is probably the longest sit-down run I've had of it in a while, just because I do get frustrated with just how much it kicks my butt. So it's something I will do one run and then shut it off for the day, whereas normally I would play for 2 to 3 hours at a stretch of anything else. Shuffle you back.
I mean, I guess it's one of those games where, because it tests your patience, if you're on a good run, you'll keep going.
Yeah.
And if you're on a bad run, screw you, shut the game off.
Oh yeah, definitely. And this is something I would actually like to see ported to a tablet. Everything runs just fine with with keyboard and mouse. Just running off the mouse. There's really only 2 keyboard buttons, and that's just to go left and right and forward. So just basic directionals, which you can still do with your mouse. So I could see this adapting to a touch screen pretty well, actually.
Well, from what I understand, it is going to be on PlayStation Vita.
Well, I mean this would feel at home in the iPad, even with its nice little gameplay chunk structure.
So this is definitely a game you recommend playing in chunks?
Well, I've been playing it in chunks.
I guess it depends on how much of a glutton for punishment you are.
Yeah, I'm
so
sure.
if I was playing this, I'd keep going.
Yeah, you would. You'd get really frustrated and drive everyone crazy.
But I would keep playing. That's how I got through Rogue Legacy for review, guys. A lot of anger, a lot of beer, and a whole lot of determination.
See, this video is actually starting to run long because I expect it to be dead by now. But we'll keep going with this, and we'll find things to chat about. So this is a new enemy type we haven't seen before. It's a cultist acolyte.
So you've gotten quite far.
Yeah.
I'm amazed your highwayman has not kicked the bucket.
A powerful blow.
Sure, when it's almost dead, I get the crit. Ain't that always the way, guys? Oh, dodged. Oh, now he's at the front. That's not what I wanted to happen. Oh well. This is what I get for not reading my tooltips.
Hopefully, he will be fine.
Mass heal, because everyone's stinging. This guy in the face.
Finding the stuff is only the first test. Now it must be carried home.
And, oh god, more traps.
Ambushed
Everybody's
by
dead.
foul invention.
Yeah, of course you give up. You're such a downer.
Put Debbie in the back.
You can sit there and think about how you're depressing everyone.
Where was me?
Oh. And... See, this is what
Wherefore,
I mean. He's been such a
heroism.
downer that now Romnel is upset. And now she's upset. Everyone's hopeless. Let's kill a necromancer. Let's do that, guys.
Well, you need to find the necromancer, which you've not been having any luck, it seems.
I bet it's gonna be this room here.
Mortality clarified in a single
Oh,
strike.
and he's gonna break too. Just watch. And... yep.
Selfish. That's a different one.
Self-preservation is paramount, at any cost.
So, selfish, what does that do?
Well, right now it is... all the afflictions are just really just names on the page. They'll change how they react negatively, so it might be that, yeah, he's gonna move backward so he doesn't...
die.
So he doesn't
Be gone,
draw
fiend.
hits quite so often. You'll see the hopeless ones will refuse help. You'll see masochists move forward into the line of combat.
Because, you know, they want to
Executed
die.
with
Yeah.
impunity. A devastating blow.
Stabby, stabby. Well, there we go. Your hate and whim did us good. Let's take the loot. Take the loot.
Wealth beyond measure. Awarded to the brave and the foolhardy alike.
Okay. So as it stands right now, we've got 2 rooms left, 3 people off their rockers. And a big pile of loot.
Could go either way.
Could take this back, buy a lot of upgrades, or push myself forward. And this is basically why I think I'm playing the game badly. I do not cut out early. I'm gonna run this. I'm gonna run for the next room at least. That sure was something you showed me.
Now, are there levels for the characters, or is this...
Yes, but they don't do a lot of help.
Okay. Like in most JRPGs, that would be the case.
Yeah, so adding levels and even successful dungeon runs will add more perks to a character and increase their resistance to stress, but at the same time, it's not a huge stat boost. That's going to come from upgrades in gear, which are hard to come by if you're bad at it, like me. More healings.
I was just curious, because in games like Rogue Legacy, levels felt very arbitrary. Like they were there, but didn't necessarily feel like they mattered, whereas upgrading your gear and it's like compared to upgrading your gear and, you know, making sure you picked the right kind of air to go into battle, this seems kind of similar, I guess.
Yeah. party management is more about just keeping everyone mildly sane in between runs, so you'll see that now that I've got 13 people, I basically have 3 teams rotating. Oh, that was a good move on her part. Now my Vestal's out of healing range. So we're gonna shoot that at or not. Let's not shoot the thing.
I think that cultist stole Morgan's wardrobe.
Oh, definitely. Well, I mean, Vestal's wearing reasonable-ish armor, maybe. Okay, it's not great. It's definitely kind of got a boot plate vibe there.
Could be worse. At
Really?
least we know it's a woman.
That could be a woman. We don't know. The leper could be a woman.
You've got leprosy. Sorry, I just love that there are lepers. I don't know why.
You shouldn't love lepers.
No, I just like that Simpsons quote. So, Squid Arm?
And push to the back, yeah. And, oh, dodged. We're doing strong here.
That was fun. Although now I really understand why this game is so balls hard.